Hey guys, I'm making an unedited commentary video as I'm supposed to be moving out right now. My house is a bit of a shit tip. I'm trying to pack boxes, fold my clothes, do everything, but there's something eating away at me like an illithid in Baldur's Gate, and that is Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man. I'm spoilers alert for part 1 and 2. I'm going to be talking about it extensively. I'm not going to be giving a whole summary of it in this video, but I do want to tackle some of its key themes and talk about why the online reception about it that I've seen on Twitter is a little unsettling, to say the least, right? So, Chainsaw Man Part 1, and to an extent Part 2, because of the recent developments in the last 10 or 15 chapters or whatever. When you peel away the fantastical elements of people fighting devils, going to hell, working in a branch of the government where they kind of work with devils and make contracts with them. When you peel all that away, all the fantasy elements or fictional elements of the story, you get um, you get to experience a young man's journey, a young man Denji and his destructive and unhealthy relationship with sex. That's what it is. Part one, arguably, well, not arguably, this is definitive. If you disagree with me, feel free to argue with me in the comments. But like, I'm set in stone about this. Part one, the entire story happened because of the sexual manipulation that Denji undergoes. Right? He is manipulated by Makima into doing as she wants him to do. He thinks that he's falling in love with her and she's falling in love with him, but in reality, she's only after his chainsaw heart. She has a reverence for Chainsaw Man, but not for the vessel of Chainsaw Man himself, right? It starts with the grabbing of the boob and stuff. He does that with power. He does that with, well, doesn't do that with Himeno, but he gets very close to having sex with her and stuff. The kiss with the vomit with Himeno, and arguably some of the stuff with Reese, but that's a different topic. My thoughts aren't fully articulated yet on that, but it is about this young man's experience with sexual assault and how his character tries to grow around it, right? Which is, it's hard to read if you're really coming at it from that angle, right? I understand and appreciate that when you're watching the first two episodes of Chainsaw Man, you're like, where Makima's like, grab my boob and like, let me bite your thumb. You're low key like, okay, this is erotic as fuck. Like, oh my god, this is crazy. And I was certainly on that boat, right? I was thinking up until chapter 70, where it's revealed she's the antagonist. I'm like, brother, I need a Makima in my life. She'd save me. She'd set me straight. But when it is revealed that she's actually evil as fuck and all that, you're like, okay, the context has rewritten every single thought I had what's previously happened with Denji, right? It is a story about sexual assault and surviving it and living with what's happened and growing around it. And a lot of people appreciate that fact as well. But what's bothered me is that since part one, sexual assault was so integral to the story that's unfolding. It's happened again in part two. It's happened twice, I believe, with the main character Denji. There is a whole other main character, Asamitaka. You know her, you love her. She's incredibly written, and it's important that we get more female main characters on massive manga like this, like Chainsaw Man, one of the biggest currently, right, on Shonen Jump. So I think it's great that Fujimoto is put Denji to the side. 97 chapters we had of his incredibly enthralling story, and we're put into the shoes of the sensitive and soulful Asamitaka, who who has an odd relationship with the opposite gender, right? They call her the femcel, which I don't know. I don't want to go into that whole thing. I have complex thoughts on the topic as well. But Fujimoto has done a brilliant job by introducing Asamitaka, who has parallels to Denji, but is not the same. So you're not experiencing the same story over just with a woman main character. It's completely different, right? And in the newest chapter that just dropped, let me open it up on the other monitor. Chapter 167. It's called Super Smooch, right? You've read it. Denji and Asa go into an alleyway. Asa promises to cut his damn dick off because he's talking about how his libido is it's what's stressing him out. That's why he can't find Nayuta. And you should. I'm hoping that you've read the chapters before then and think, oh no, Denji's just a horny motherfucker. Like, he really does need to get his dick ripped off. I hope you empathize with him and realize, like, this guy is being put in the worst situation, one of the worst situations he's ever been in his whole life. His little sister has gone missing, probably dead. His house has been burnt down. He has fucking nothing. He was just torn apart and his limbs were duplicated and shit like that. And he's just been put back together, right? And he finds comfort, although it's unhealthy, he finds comfort in sexual encounters such as the ones that he had with Makima. That's why, in like I said mentioned before, when she was biting his thumb, and she was like, remember this bite? When he's fucking stressing the fuck out on that train, he's biting his own thumb, right? Because he's thinking the release of sex, right, an orgasm, will set him straight and get him focused on what he needs to do. It's not entirely him. Katana Man had some involvement in it, right? But they don't chop his dick off. Asa does not chop his dick off. And Yoru takes over and remembers that they had a first kiss already, which was wiped out by Nayuta's powers. And Yoru grabs Denji's dick with his pants still on, jerks him off, and is talking down to him. And he fucking comes, right? And it's horrific. I mean, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, fuck, man, another bad thing has happened to my guy. He's just been through too much already, right? And not only that, but Yoru's taken over. So Asa has probably just been assaulted as well, man. I saw a tweet, leave it up to Fujimoto to make 2 people assaulted from one sexual assault encounter, right, involving 2 people. And, like, it's enthralling what he set up, right? Because Fujimoto does have good sensitivities when it comes to this topic, right? We've seen it with Makima, we've seen it with Himeno, we've seen it with, I guess we haven't seen that much with Fumi, although, I do have to reread all of part 2 to sort of solidify my understanding of it. That's why I reread all of part 1 after I finish it, because I'm like, okay, she's a manipulator, we gotta go from the start, right? And it's an incredible read when you have that knowledge. And in this newest chapter, both of these people have been assaulted, essentially. And it's horrific. It's tragic, right? What I really want to talk about in this video, how long am I? I'm 8 minutes in. Right, okay. I've just been tickling the balls of Chainsaw Man this whole time. I apologize. I want to talk about Twitter's reception of it. What the fuck is happening to media literacy? I'm being honest. Like, in a story where Denji's super unhealthy and fucked up relationship with sex is integral to his character and the narrative that unfolds in part 1, why are so many people on Twitter denouncing Fujimoto as an incredible writer because he's reintroduced sexual assault into his story? But even though it's already happened, so I don't know why people are so bothered about it this time, right? I can only assume, excuse me, I dropped my vape on the floor, so I'm gonna go pick this up. I can only assume that people are talking about this new chapter and, Fujimoto's writing direction as a negative thing because they're assuming that Fujimoto is not going to handle this topic with the decorum that he has in the past. And it's fucking ridiculous, man. If anything, if you've read part 2 and you followed Asa's story, you are chomping at the bit to see what happens next here, right? Because Asa is much more vocal and acutely aware of her emotions. We haven't quite seen her perspective on what has happened. We haven't seen Denji's perspective either. Scratch, remove both of these characters. We haven't seen Fujimoto's perspective on the issue, which is what everyone on Twitter is arguing about. It's infuriating, man. I've got a tweet. I read this tweet that like a few minutes after I finished the chapter. Right? Fucking dear Denji, I'm sorry that man is your author. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Man, Fujimoto has handled this before in the past. He's done well on this topic. And this replied to their own tweet. By the way, 76,000 likes. We are fucked. And this wouldn't be such a big deal to me if people in the Chainsaw Man community were not the most annoying fucking people on earth about media literacy, man. You hear about the fucking media literacy devil, brother, or the reading comprehension devil. Hey, man, that shit's hit you, right? I've just made a contract with it, or someone's made a contract with it and hit you with minus fucking reading comprehension. Please, for the love of God, take a step back, man. I need you to go outside and realize that holy shit, like there is a life outside of this. I get it. It's important to you. It's important to me as well. I've got fucking the first 3 volumes of Chainsaw Man in Japanese. I can't read a fucking lick of it, but I want to pay my respects and give some money to Fujimoto, man, because he's made something incredible. But what are you talking about? I'm sorry that man's your author. You lied about your writing skills. You lied about your art. You lied about your pen game. I hope this shit gets axed. Firstly, if you hope this shit gets axed, you're never going to see the conclusion that Fujimoto could bring to this incredible story. You are being ridiculous right now. Please take a step back and realize, give him some time to work with his penmanship, man. He's done well. Like, I could only respect an opinion like this if maybe Chainsaw Man was in chapter fucking 30 or something, part 1, and he's grabbed the boob, and you're thinking, this guy is 16 and he's being manipulated by this much older woman who's taking him in. There's a power imbalance there. That's fucked up. Like, Fujimoto, put the pen down. No sexual assault. Don't cast it in a good light. Oh, and then the end of part 1 happens and you go, oh, actually, like, it was evil this whole time. And Fujimoto was trusting the audience to kind of piece together what's going on, right? I can understand why you'd be so vitriolic about the portrayal of assault here, but this guy literally has 160 plus chapters of Chainsaw Man alone proving that he can handle this topic well. Like, please, can you just give him room to write some shit, man? All you've seen is the event. You haven't seen the aftermath of it. You haven't seen the characters' perceptions of it, right? And it would be fucked up if Fujimoto wrote it so that both Denji and Asa come out of that fucking assault, the fucking hand job through the pants. Both of them were like, that was deeply transformative and awesome. We should really have sex now. And if that happened, okay, Fujimoto, drop the fucking ball. He's too obsessed with making that look back movie, alright? That is gonna be fucked up if it happens. But I just don't think it's true, right? Denji is gonna be unsatisfied with it, right? It's in the same way that when he got to grab Power's boobs, he was like, I didn't really feel anything because there was no love involved. But the painting is constructed with much more beautiful and finer strokes because Asa and Denji do like each other, right? Well, Asa's all like, I don't like him. And Denji's all like, oh, I need her in my life, right? Good for him, man. Good for him. But both of these characters have been put in an incredibly complex and traumatic situation. And you're thinking that Fujimoto's just going to drop the ball? They're just going to be like, well, that was my first sexual encounter. That was awesome. All right, let's go on a date now, right? No, Fujimoto is going to show what the ramifications of this incredibly fucked up and event that can only happen in Chainsaw Man. We're gonna see how these characters proceed with it. You gotta trust Fujimoto with a pen. This guy has done well. All right. Um, I mean, I don't know. This tweet got 76,000 likes and 10,000 retweets, and this is just a little afterthought as well. The fucking people calling, because my only issue with this, right? If I saw a tweet like this and had 70,000 likes, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Fucking media illiterate people reign supreme, right? It's not my job to educate them, and I'm not too bothered about it. But it's the fact that the Chainsaw Man community, so many of the people involved are talking about the media literacy devil, the reading comprehension devil. Motherfucker, please, you have your contract with the media literacy devil expired 2 months ago. He's looking for a finger, and you're giving him a fingernail, man. Go make another contract with that fucking thing. Like, seriously. Just trust that Fujimoto is gonna do well here, man, because he's done it. I don't understand why people are being so fucking hateful about it and like saying he's the worst author ever. I don't want to read it. I disavow Chainsaw Man. Every good thing I've ever said about it is out the window. I don't know, man. We just need to get normal. We need to watch and wait, right? And if fucking the next chapter comes out, it's coming out in a couple days, and it turns out that Fujimoto is gonna cast the assault of two of the main characters in a positive light, then okay, I'll lick my fucking entire soul on camera and I'll apologize. But just have some faith that Fujimoto is gonna do well here, man, because he has done well. And it's an incredible work that he's putting out, and just the fucking people are so eager to grab their pitchforks and denounce a work of art, because this guy is all about Chainsaw Man. He's got a Chainsaw Man profile picture in his fucking name. It's like, number one Chainsaw Man fan. In his fucking bio, he's the strongest avid supporter of a Chainsaw Man fan, and it's like, I would have expected you, the guy who made that tweet, to be like, guys, trust the process. Fujimoto, he fucking cooks, man. Let's give him some time in the kitchen, right? It's getting hot. How are you the number one Chainsaw Man fan and you are motherfucking seeing the newest chapter drop about sexual assault, which part 1 covers in great detail, and part 2 to a certain extent, right, with Fumi, as I've mentioned. How are you going to see that new chapter and be like, Fujimoto's fucked it. He's fumbled the ball. You are being ridiculous. You are running to foregone conclusions. Conjectures, that's the word I'm looking for. So please, trust him. Trust him, all right? Anyways, that's about it. That's all I want. I just had to get that off my chest. I feel a lot better now. I might make another commentary about the next chapter if there's anything to talk about. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening.